And then I put Snoop and Biggie on stage in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And you just never heard about the East-West beef again after that.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Man, this is the behind-the-scenes stuff that people really have no clue
but
about.
I'm a fan.
Of course.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I'm a fan of the music. Like, I didn't break Ja Rule just because he was the homie and Irv is the homie and all of that. I was a fan of the music.
He was in the music.
And if there was something that I could do to help,
why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
And I do it.
For others, it wasn't like it was just us. So it was others, everyone.
I worked harder for Murder Inc. though.
Yeah.
Because, you know, what it was there's this mutual respect that you and Irv, dog, like we were just joking about. You and I get together, see each other, we play dice.
Yes.
You know, whether it be with Shaquille O'Neal
I'm sorry.
or no, you were always whip my ass. But what I'm saying is
my dice hand is strong.
But whether you guys we'd have dinner at Mr. Chow's every time you came into town,
yes,
or we went to New York, it wasn't just about records. We were friends.
Facts.
And to this day,
yes,
the only people that I still stay in touch with, on some real shit, is Murder Inc.
Man, see?
Because, like you said, the industry is the industry. When we were talking over here, and now you were saying, you know what I mean? I'm allergic to bullshit.
Yeah, I can't do it.
And as much that was coming at me at 20-something years old, you know what I mean?
You know, this is the hardest part for me for this podcast. Because I know a lot of people. I mean, I've been in, we know everybody.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to deal with everybody. And then if you come here, I might call you on some of the bullshit, and I don't want to expose people. Yeah. That's not what I'm here to do.
But see, that's what, you know, even we were saying I had dinner with somebody last night, you know, or the other night when we were talking about it. Yeah. I ended up just getting up from the table and saying, it's nice seeing you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because because it was like, you know, the comment was something like, yeah, you put me in position, but I never made no money off of you.
Wow.
And you know what I mean? Like,
that position you was in has to come with so much stress.
It was.
Because of the amount of egos in music.
Well, and I can't say it didn't affect me at one point.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, but
you might have felt like the alpha and omega. Like, hey, you want to be the winner? I could control that.
Yeah, well, but you know, what it was I was 22, 23 years old, bro.
I understand.
And I had all of this power. You know, I wake up one morning and Mariah Carey's laying next to me. Jay-Z's and Puffy are on my voicemail.
Yes.
Irv's yelling at me, calling me a rap bastard about some, you know, show or something like that. And you get a God complex.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Especially at that age.
I feel everyone has that that's very successful in this music industry.
But that's also part of the reason where when my grandma fell down over that 2004, 2005, over Christmas or Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Right.
That's when I just said, yeah, I mean, you know what I was doing. I had a Power 106 in LA. I had Hot 97 in New York. 32 stations in the middle. On Saturdays, I was with Dre and Snoop in the Up in Smoke tour. I put them with Magic Johnson. Jay Brown, God bless him, hooked up with Magic Johnson to do that. Created the Radio Events Group as a touring apparatus. And then I was out with Mariah on the other day, you know, doing the Charm Bracelet tour. My grandma fell down, and literally on a Friday afternoon, I took everything off like a suit, hung it up on the thing, and I disappeared.
First. Family first.
Because once I realized that my grandma needed me,
that's it.
I was like, cool, y'all have fun.
Yeah, but that's family first. I understand that 1,000%.
So a lot of people don't know that. I mean, everybody just said this fool just disappeared. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, it was about Granny.
It's family. Again, she needed you. That's the bottom line.
And when I was an abandoned kid at 1 year old, my dad was off being a biker and my mom was on drugs and this kind of stuff. And they literally dropped me off on the doorstep and rang the doorbell. Right. You know, my grandma took me in and raised me. Yeah. So I said, you take care of me now and I'll take care of you when you're old.
That's right.
So that's what happened.
Simple. Simple. If we go into with the changing of the guards or the changing of the times, what years do you think really music shifted to where it's at today. Like if you was to think about like that again, like I call it that paradigm shift.
2005.
That's the year. Man,
that's when everything switched.
Early.
That's when it started switching. Look, you have to remember when we started doing this,
yes,
hip hop was not the #1 format in the world.
I know that. I know that.
So when all of a sudden you had Dre, you had Eminem, you had Ja doing pop numbers.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? Selling 10 million records, 20 million records worldwide, going overseas and doing mega tours. You had these rap artists doing this. Well, you know how corporations get.
Yeah.
Now they want their cut.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's when radio and that's when Universal and, like you said, Def Jam didn't take it seriously.
No.
Until that 7th zero came in or that 8th zero came in. Then it was like,
wait a minute.
what are we doing?
What do we do?
You know what I mean?
We have to do something.
Like we have to justify our position. But the problem too is what people don't realize is a lot of these executives have to do something to justify that check. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So they do stuff that isn't we did it for the passion and we did it for the music. They're doing it to do something to
shareholders.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Keep them happy, to keep their position. I always say corporate America's self-preservation is at the highest level, so they're going to make sure they take care of themselves first.
But the problem is look at the product. Power 106 right now is the very last English-speaking radio station in Los Angeles.
Wow.
K-Day's beating them.
Wow.
But their egos are so crazy, instead of calling the guy that built it and just saying, hey, you want to come do the clocks and fix this thing for me? I'll put it back in the top 15 in 10 minutes.
Yeah, no time.
It's... No, we don't need your help. You know what I mean? You've been out of radio too long. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, but that's the mentality.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of these egos. You know what I mean? You got these executives.
Egos, executive egos, artist egos, everything. There's
all of it.
Ego.
All of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, even looking at, but that's why I love John. I love Irv and our murdering situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Is because we've, even through the Mariah and the J-Lo stuff and even all of that, Irv always dealt with me, and you and Ja always dealt with me like a gentleman.
Absolutely.
You know, it came to me and told me, look, I'm about to do this thing because they're offering me $250,000. I feel like a rap bastard for it, Dame.
Yeah.
But I got to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, how am I going to stand in the way of you making that kind of money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's what friends do.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And it's partially business.
Again, it's a lot of things that come into play inside of that, because I'm not a person that money drives me. I'm different, maybe.
But
maybe that's why I'm not as big as some of these other guys, because they let the money drive them. And you know, when you're driven by the money, you'll compromise yourself, and I'll never do that. I won't compromise my relationships or the thing just for a check. And I've had so many opportunities for that, but I wouldn't.
And that's the second reason I left.
And that's the problem.
Is because it became about the money.
Right.
You wanted me to sell my soul and do stuff that I always played records that were right for the radio station.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and even, you know, Irv and I went at it. You and me would have conversations.
But that's when I asked you about payola, but it may not have been to you, but that's when maybe payola took place inside.
Not with me.
Not with you, but there's other people that maybe that money was affecting them, and they was like, wait a minute, I can't pass that up.
Dude, I get it.
Yeah.
I was the only person you can't buy, and I was the only person you couldn't intimidate, and I was the only person you couldn't make play a record that wasn't right for my radio station. Shh. But I got along with even Suge. I would tell Suge, like, dude, I can't play that record, it's crap. You know what I'm saying? And he'd be like, hey, man, well, tell me what.
Yeah.
You know, because, look, respect is respect. And as long as you treat people with respect, you'll get respect.
Yes.
You act like a bitch, you're going to get treated like a bitch. That's it. But that's a lot of artists coming up. That's something that's important that they know. is they don't have to kiss ass. They don't have to do those kind of things. All they got to do is have a viable product and a good platform and an OG like yourself to show them the route.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big believer in, you know, go to the OG on the block and say, give me directions so I don't get shot on the way to the convenience store.
Exactly. You just got to have the let's say the balls to open your mouth and say that and ask for that, you know, and then 99.9% of the time it's going to be positive.
Well, and if you find the genuine people.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Most of the time when you humble yourself and you reach out to someone in that capacity, no one's being an asshole to you.
True.
I never found that, but I'm pretty sure there is that 1.01% that would be stupid or whatever, but most of the time they're gonna help because they know you don't want a problem and you want to stay out of the way, you want the right thing, and
we've all
help.
been there.
All been there. So after all this, what is where do you see, like we was talking about AI?
Yeah.
What part of AI would you foresee in the music industry now? You see all this stuff with Drake and The Weeknd. They have a huge song together right now.
God, it's the number one viral.
The shit is popping.
Yeah.
And they're mad. I feel I have a solution, but I want to go through it with you because, again, just to hear a different opinion, a different idea on it. You mentioned something off here about it couldn't be, you can't trademark the sound of your voice.
Yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, Universal has just filed suit in court for copyright infringement because they don't want them to use the beats, but they haven't been able to justify vocal tone. And the reason why is, yes, it sounds like Kanye, but it's still not 100% Kanye. So if you had
Ja
Michael
sounded like X or X sounded like Ja, but they're not exact.
But here's the thing. You got a Michael Jackson impersonator in Vegas.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Doing his songs every night.
Doing his songs every night. But you
on Broadway. His show is amazing on Broadway.
But you can stop him from using the music. But if he's on the street dancing and just doing stuff a cappella.
So, like, okay, you mentioned the show out here, like a Michael Jackson show. They get paid from that music. They
license the music.
They license the music. So there is revenue that's driven towards the artist that created it and own it. Same thing with the Broadway play, the same thing.
Yeah.
They have to license it. So now you create a whole new record.
But if you say it's AI Drake...
It's AI Drake.
Or AI
man.
Kanye.
Oh, man.
You change the name. You change the name.
That's the change of the name.
How can you sue?
Wow.
It's not him. Do you know what I'm saying? So if Jay-Z
wanted
to
have
sue
a hell of a
somebody,
fight coming up. This is going to be a very interesting time.
It's going to be crazy because
let me tell you, AI Drake versus Drake. Oh.
Jay and Drake physically did not give their voice.
Nothing.
So they did not endorse it.
So when we go back to music, I said I was going to talk about it because I remember Doug Morris being very upset. Doug Morris was the chairman of Universal at the time, and he was so upset because of Napster.
Right.
This is the same, but just different. So Napster comes in and they're fucking pirating music.
Right.
Steve Jobs comes in and says, "Hey, I got iTunes.
Yeah.
I want all your music."
Right.
And he's like, "I'm not giving you my music. I paid for that music. That's my music." And to me, that's why it's 30 cents on the dollar to this day for nothing, for all streaming platforms, because Steve Jobs was pissed off at Doug Morris, and he ends up telling Steve Jobs, get the fuck out of his office, all of this shit.
Yeah.
And comes in, I remember
we're
having
paying
a conversation.
for it,
He couldn't believe, we're paying for it to this day.
Yeah.
And he couldn't believe it. And he was like, could you believe they're trying to take all the music? I've spent all this money. And sure enough, Napster and iTunes created all of this music now is getting used and pirated with Napster.
Well,
and then when he goes to the government who's there to protect us against pirating, you see it in movies, if this movie was... And the government says, we can't help you. It's too many, meaning every time they shut something down, they said another 20 pops up and we can't do it. So that was the reality that was the harsh no.
But there's evolution with everything.
So I feel AI, you're right. So I feel AI is the exact same thing. Like,
yes.
I could create an AI Drake song.
Right.
We all have that same technology at our disposal. So how do you prevent it? I feel the only way to prevent it or that could change it is you have to do like Broadway shows and like and they have to give the credit or the name, the money, a percentage of that money, a percentage of it has to go to the originator of the voice.
I agree.
Just like a master copy of the voice. Like if we know they're using, I'm looking at the Ed Sheeran sample right now with I think it was Marvin Gaye. What's going on?
Yeah.
And they're in court.
Which is
they're in
nothing like it, by the way.
Nothing like it, but he's gonna lose.
Yeah.
Pharrell's was less like it, and they
was
won.
in a different key. There was 3 different notes.
So all I'm saying
how
is
you sell it.
All I'm saying is if they're protecting things like that, they're gonna have to protect the voice, in my opinion, of these artists that have.
But it's gonna be a harder fight. And let me tell you why.
It shouldn't be hard.
No, but I'll tell you why it's going to be a harder fight.
I just feel that they should be able, because here's why. The minute, if they don't, I'm going to fucking create so many songs they won't be able to stop me. And that's the reality.
I agree.
And then if I'm just one of many, how it'll be so saturated, it will destroy their revenue. It would destroy their business.
I agree.
I believe that. It would destroy it.
But it's going to be the hardest fight in music, period.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we went through those phases. We went through LimeWire. We went through Napster. We went through CDs. We went through the internet. And everybody always said, music is over. You'll never make another dime again. Then, we found a way to do it through Spotify and through YouTube and monetize through different outlets.
Sure.
But the problem with this AI thing is it's not exact. It's not created by that artist. It is impersonating. So, for instance, say a session musician went in and faked a Michael Jackson record.
I'm clear. I get it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Someone that sounds like Michael Jackson went and wrote a new song.
Right.
And puts it out.
Right.
Can't do shit about it.
Look at The Weeknd. A lot of the Weeknd stuff is
very
based
similar.
is but look, there's nothing new under the sun, bro.
I know that.
You know what I mean? So the best way to make a hit record...
Well, not necessarily. AI is pretty new.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, yes.
AI is pretty new.
No, I mean, but the problem is it's synthetic.
Right.
So unless they get a blanket Congress law, which takes 5 to 10 years to get anything done.
Yeah, forget it.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to have this grace period of bullshit.
I'm creating my AI artist catalog right.
Dude, I got like 5,000 beats just sitting on the side. You know what I mean? Of stuff I just been doing. I've been having fun just going in like, hey, have Kanye West sing this song. Make it about this.
Every producer,
and throw my beat on it, and
every
there's
producer,
Kanye.
when they make a track, they always have it attached to the artist that they think should be on it.
And now they can do it.
Now they could actually do it. That's spooky, scary.
It's spooky and scary, but as a producer, it's kind of cool.
Oh man,
you know what I mean? Like, especially
that's why I'm saying, if they played fair, because I agree with what you're saying 1,000%. And if they just play fair and stop being greedy and say, all right, if we take someone's image or a likeness of their voice,
well, they say
they'll get 25% of the record or whatever, and that's it. They're part of the master.
A lot of people say Kanye is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? But he's a genius.
Yeah.